Okay, hello everyone. Finally getting this started. This is my series of guitar videos. My name is Nick, by the way, for anyone who's not a friend of mine watching. But for these first few videos, it probably will just be the three of you. So anyway, yeah, I've decided to start a series of guitar tutorial, instructional video lesson kind of things. Mostly with a focus on lead playing, specifically in a rock, progressive metal kind of vibe. I have actually made a list of what we're going to be checking out. I did it here. I'm very proud of myself. I, took the initiative to actually write out what's going to be happening. So this first video is just going to kind of be an intro to what we're going to be checking out in the next few weeks. What I am going to try to do is do at least one lesson a week. If I can, sometimes things can get pretty hectic with, Vast and everything, but I will definitely try my best. Okay, so yeah, like I said, this first lesson, or first video, just an introduction. The first few lessons there's not going to be much guitar playing. Unfortunately, it's going to be a lot more theory based, and I don't want to scare you when I say that. But personally, from my experience, I think it's better to have a decent base in terms of theory to know why you're doing what you're doing. So if I say, okay, we're playing the pentatonic scale, then you understand what a pentatonic scale is and where the notes come from and stuff like that. So you're not just kind of, parrot learning and stuff. I think that's really important, and it'll really help you if you ever go on to do something like, a bit more professional than just kind of jamming by yourself. If you're playing in a band situation or a session situation, or something like that. Okay, so this lesson, I am just going to talk about what you need in terms of equipment, setup, stuff like that. Go over the parts of the guitar that we have here. What else did I say we're going to do? Okay, yeah, that's basically going to be it. Just a nice short introduction, couple minutes, just to know what you need, what you should be looking at getting, if you don't have a guitar already, something like that. Although if you're watching videos, you probably do. But anyway, and then the next maybe 2 or 3, 1, 2, 3 lessons will be kind of really basic theory, just introducing you to a few concepts that I think it's important to know in terms of, the notes that we have in music, how these notes kind of relate to each other, how they work. A little bit, really basic music theory. It's never ever going to be anything too hectic, but like I said, I think it's important to understand what's going on, how everything works, just so you are thinking about what you're doing, which I think is really important. And it's something that when I was doing music, that was important to me, and I really enjoyed figuring out or being taught how these things work and how music works together. It's actually really quite interesting. Okay, so, and then also in the next, like I said, 2 or 3 videos, we're going to look at kind of basic positionings of where your hands and everything should be, how you should hold the instrument, how you should sit with it, and stuff like that. But for now, all we're going to do is just check out the different parts of the guitar. Okay, actually, before I get onto that, I just want to talk about exactly what this whole series of lessons is mainly going to focus on. Okay, so for me, I've always been something of a lead player. I can play rhythm and stuff like that, but it's not really my strength. My strength is definitely in terms of lead playing and improvisation and stuff like that. So that's really the focus I'm going to be having on. We're going to do a lot of technique in terms of lead playing, so like cool lead techniques and stuff like that, picking, getting faster, speeders and everything, but obviously it's really cool when you can shred like Petrucci style. Okay, so yeah, the focus is really going to mainly be on lead playing, specifically from, I don't want to scare everyone when I say this, but specifically from a kind of a jazz point of view. Now, when I say that, I don't mean we're going to be looking at jazz, but a lot of the scales and theories and things that we're going to be exploring come from jazz, but we're going to be applying them in a rock, metal, progressive rock kind of situation, and I think it's great because it really leads to some way more interesting sounds. You can get some really cool sounding solos and stuff like that when you're not just playing the basic stuff. And something I've also been thinking of what I want to do is maybe, along with this series of videos, which is going to be lead guitar, is maybe also having another series where I check out a little bit of rhythm, nothing too hectic, you know, some like chord shapes, stuff like that, basic rhythm, specifically obviously in a metal kind of setting, and maybe also some videos where I show you how to play, you know, cool riffs and stuff. If there's people out there who, you know, you hear a riff and you maybe get the tabs and stuff and you've been trying to play it but you can't quite get it, you know, just like post a comment or something and I'll do a series checking out just cool riffs. You know, if there's anything that I find that I think is cool, we'll check that out. You know, rhythm or lead, doesn't matter, whatever. Okay, so that's basically what I'm going to be doing. Okay, so I think now, is that everything I wanted to talk about? Yeah, okay. So, let's talk a little bit, sorry, well, I'm a little bit out of breath. I don't know, it's a bit nerve-wracking, even though there's no one actually watching us directly. I'm just speaking fast, getting out of breath. Okay, I'm cool. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about all the different, about what you need first in terms of guitar and stuff. So obviously you need your guitar. You can have an electric, an acoustic. At this point it doesn't really matter. There is quite a difference in terms of playing an electric versus acoustic in terms of lead stuff. But if you're starting off with an acoustic, that's perfect, and wanting to move on to an electric, it's all good. If you're starting off with an electric, that's also cool. Okay, so obviously you're going to need your guitar, you're going to need an amp. Just a small practice one is perfectly fine. My first amp was a horrible little, it was like 15 watts, and the distortion channel was horrible, and it was just a horrible little amp, but it was great to learn on. And I still have, that's a really small amp, just something for like practicing. You know, you can get a nice sound without having to crank the volume too high, which is obviously good if you at home, you know, you don't want to get complaints from your neighbors with all the shredding and stuff that you're going to be doing. So an amp, and then get some picks as well. What I would recommend is just getting, like, go to your nearby music store and just like buy 10 different kinds of picks to find what works for you. I went through about, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 different ones that I thought were cool until I found what I really like. Just for reference sake, what I use is, I don't know if can you see that? It's the Jim Dunlop Jazz 3, the Altex ones. Really, really great pick. I find they're nice and pointy. So you get a really nice, you can get some really nice speed with them. They are very hard though. Maybe for starting off you want to get something a bit more flexible. So yeah, like I said, just go to your local music store, try the whole bunch, buy a whole bunch. They're not really expensive, so you know, just get as many as you can and just try them out, see what works for you. Maybe spend 1 week playing with one, move into another one, see how it feels, stuff like that. And don't be afraid to change. You know, I mean, if you find it's not working for you, a pick, or you find something better, just go for it. You don't have to be stuck to one. But when you do find one that really works for you, you'll know it and you can stick with that. Okay, two other things I'd recommend getting. Obviously you need a tuner, just like that, nice basic Korg tuner. Obviously so you can just keep your guitar tuned up. I keep looking at the screen, not the camera. Sorry. Okay, and also, super important is get a metronome. These are, I can't even tell you how important it is to have a metronome. It'll help your timing, your rhythm, your playing, it'll help you build speed. It's like one of the most important things you can possibly get, and so many guitarists just don't play with metronome, and it's really bad. So get a metronome and a tuner. You can get combo ones, again not expensive but definitely worth having. that's about it, I think, yeah. Also, get a chair. I would recommend a chair. I have one right here. Look at that. Really, really good to have. I'd recommend getting a chair that you don't kind of lean back on, because that'll give you bad posture. If you can get a stool as well, a stool is great for playing, because it forces you to kind of sit up straight, which is a really important thing when you're playing, so you don't, develop back problems or anything like that, or get pains, whatever. Yeah, that's that, I think. Okay, so now let's just spend a minute or two talking about the different parts of the guitar, and then I think that'll be it for the first video. Isn't that cool? We've done one already. Wow, I can't believe I'm finally doing this. Oh, one other thing which I just noticed quickly, which my cat is sleeping on, is get a nice cloth to clean your guitar with, because you'll find, or at least I find, that the grime and stuff builds up really quickly, and that can end up damaging like the finish on the guitar. The metal will start kind of corroding a bit, and your strings as well. Clean your strings always after playing, just to keep them, extend their life as long as possible. Okay, cool. Sorry, finally, now on to the different parts. Okay, so here's your guitar. It has 6 strings, unless of course you're playing a 7th string, but if you're playing a 7th string, you're probably not watching an introduction video to how to play, so probably 6 strings. We have acoustic or electric. If it has 5 or 4 strings, it's probably a bass guitar, so go somewhere else for that. This is electric guitars only. Okay, so you have 3 kind of main parts. You've got the body, which is where the pickups, or if it's an acoustic, the sounding hole is. You've got the neck, which is where all the frets are, and you've got the head, which is where the tuning knobs, pegs, whatever they're called, the tuners are. Okay, then on the body you have the bridge, which is where the strings connect to the body. You might have a floating bridge, which is one you can use a whammy bar to like pull up or down. It's very cool, but chances are it's probably a fixed bridge. I actually have one here. It's probably a fixed bridge like this. Good place to start out. Okay, then you have your tone and volume knobs. Obviously, depending on what kind of guitar you have, you might have in this case 4. Another one has 1, sometimes 2, 3, whatever. We'll get into more detail about that later. Obviously, if you have an acoustic, you don't really have that. You might have a volume knob or a tone knob on the side here. But okay, we're specifically talking about electrics. Okay, then you have the pickup selector, which is here on this one, but here on this one, what that does is just change which pickup you're using. Like I said, that's maybe a bit too much detail for now. We'll go into more detail about how that all works some other time. Okay, then you've got your strap pegs, pins, whatever. There and there. Might be positioned differently depending on your guitar. That's just for hooking up a strap, so you can strap your guitar onto yourself when you maybe stand. Okay, then you have the neck, which is the real business end of where everything gets done. You typically have maybe 22 frets, which are these metal doodads on the guitar neck. You maybe have 22 of them, between 22, 24, sometimes 21. Okay, so those are the frets, and then between them are what we call spaces. Yeah, and that's about it. Not much going on there. Okay, then you have this bit over here, if you can see that. It's called the nut. Again, not much to say. I just want everyone to know, if I reference a specific part of the guitar, you know what I'm talking about. So that's the neck, and then on the head, we have the tuning knobs and the tuners. I don't really know the proper terminology. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Don't be mad. Yeah, so then the strings are connected at this end and this end, and that lets it in vibrate. Okay, it's running up to 15 minutes. That's pretty good for just an intro lesson. So, yeah, like I said, obviously not much happening yet. We'll get into more and more as this goes on, but I hope you enjoy it. I hope to at least get a couple follows would be cool. If you liked it, if you didn't, let me know. And I'll see you in the next lesson. Okay, cheers everybody.